Hello everybody, and welcome to a briefing on today's potential tornado outbreak. So the Storm Prediction Center has issued a moderate risk of severe weather for today across much of Ohio, southeastern Indiana, and northern Kentucky in the red shaded area. We have Louisville, Kentucky, Cincinnati, Ohio, and Columbus, Ohio in the moderate risk of severe weather today. We have a giant enhanced risk covering now, extending south into western Georgia, most of Alabama, northeast Mississippi, nearly all of Tennessee, southern central Kentucky, much of West Virginia, central Indiana, and southwestern Pennsylvania in the orange. We have a very large slight risk covering most of the western mid-Atlantic, the South, and the southern Great Lakes, and a marginal risk surrounding that in the dark green, extending all the way into portions of Maryland and Delaware and the Delmarva. And unfortunately, looking at our tornado threat today, a 15% chance of tornadoes touching down within 25 miles of a location has been maintained and expanded a little bit to the south in the red shade area today, including Columbus, Ohio, Cincinnati, Ohio, and Louisville, Kentucky. Numerous tornadoes are expected today, especially across the red shade area, and we are likely going to be seeing a few that are EF2 or stronger in magnitude, especially across this red shade area today. Make sure you have your tornado shelter plan in place and a way of getting a tornado warning such as a NOAA Weather Radio and your cell phone. We have a very large 10% hatched area for tornadoes covering much of Indiana, Kentucky, Tennessee, northeast Mississippi, Alabama, western Georgia, western West Virginia in the yellow hatched area. We have Columbus, Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia, Birmingham, Alabama, Chattanooga, Tennessee, Nashville, Tennessee, Jackson, Tennessee, Bowling Green, Kentucky, Evansville, Indiana, and Indianapolis, Indiana in the 10 sig risk. Numerous tornadoes are also expected in the 10 sig area, and one or two could become EF2 or stronger in this 10 sig area. In fact, I wouldn't rule out a violent EF4 tornado or two, especially across portions of Kentucky, Indiana, and Ohio this afternoon. 5% chance of a tornado touching down within 25 miles of a location across this large brown shaded area into the western mid-Atlantic, the South, and the southern Great Lakes. 2% tornado risk in the green areas. Scattered and isolated tornadoes are also possible in the brown and green shaded areas today. Taking a look at our damaging wind threat, numerous damaging to destructive wind gusts are expected, especially across southeast Indiana, Ohio, western West Virginia, Kentucky, and northern Tennessee. In this hatched area, we could be seeing wind gusts of over 75 miles per hour in areas like Bowling Green, Louisville, Kentucky, Cincinnati, Columbus, Ohio, Charleston, West Virginia, with a broad 30% chance of damaging straight line winds of 58 miles per hour stronger within 25 miles of a location across this red shaded area across northeast Mississippi, northern Alabama, northwest Georgia, much of Tennessee, Kentucky, Indiana, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and West Virginia. 15% damaging wind threat in the yellow shaded region today, a 5% damaging wind threat in the brown shaded region. And looking at our large hail threat, we could be seeing large destructive hail today across central southeast Indiana, northern Kentucky, and central southwestern Ohio. Could be seeing hail of golf ball to tennis ball to baseball to softball size in areas like Indianapolis, Evansville, Louisville, Cincinnati, and Columbus, with a broad area of a quarter size hail or larger, 30% chance within 25 miles of a given location, across northeast Mississippi, northern Alabama, northwest Georgia, most of Tennessee, Kentucky, into West Virginia, western Virginia, Ohio, and much of Indiana. 15% large hail risk in the yellow shaded area, 5% chance in the brown shaded area. So this is going to be an all-hazard severe weather outbreak for a very large area today across the Tennessee-Ohio Valley, South, and Mid-Atlantic. Make sure you're preparing for numerous tornadoes, a few being EF2 or stronger, especially across the enhanced and moderate risk this afternoon and evening. Now, timing out the storms. One thing to note is that we have a little bit less early morning thunderstorm activity than we first anticipated last night. So this unfortunately could help to destabilize the atmosphere further for a more robust severe weather outbreak this afternoon. As we go into about the noon hour, severe thunderstorms are going to break out across Indiana, Kentucky, and Tennessee. These are likely going to be clusters of supercells producing tornadoes, large hail, and damaging winds by the noon hour. And then going into the afternoon, going into about 2 to 3 o'clock, could be seeing tornadic supercells moving across areas like Columbus, Ohio, Charleston, West Virginia, much of Kentucky, Tennessee through northern Mississippi. The severity and the intensity of the tornadoes is really going to depend on storm mode. If we can keep storm mode in clusters, this could limit the overall tornado threat. But if we see more discrete supercells, we are likely going to be seeing numerous tornadoes and a higher threat of EF2 or stronger tornadoes this afternoon and evening. Going into 4 and 5 o'clock, this is when we could be seeing numerous supercells across Kentucky, Tennessee, Alabama, West Virginia, Ohio. These could be embedded supercells as well. Going into 5 and 6 o'clock, supercells continue across central Ohio, Kentucky, Tennessee, northern Alabama. And then going into 7, 8, and 9, this is in central time. The storm should be overall weakening across the Ohio Valley and Mid-Atlantic. However, looking down towards Alabama and Georgia, which is why they expanded the 10% SIG tornado risk into Alabama and Georgia, going to be seeing the potential for supercells into the overnight hours, unfortunately. Atlanta, Georgia, you could be seeing supercells into midnight Eastern time. And then going into tomorrow morning, the storm should weaken below severe limits, at least temporarily, as they move into the Carolinas and Virginia. So taking a look at our significant tornado parameter values for today, as we go into about the noon hour, we're going to be seeing significant tornado parameter values of about 4 to 7 across southern Indiana, Kentucky, and especially Tennessee, seeing pockets as high as 7 and 8 in areas like Nashville, Tennessee, and southern Indiana, indicating a very favorable environment for tornadoes this afternoon. Going into 1 and 2 o'clock this afternoon, significant tornado parameters will remain high across Kentucky, Tennessee, Indiana, into southern Ohio. Going into 4 and 5 o'clock, this is when the atmosphere is going to be the most prime for tornado development, as we are seeing pockets of 8, 9, and 10 on the significant tornado parameter across portions of Kentucky and Ohio. And then going into 6 and 7 o'clock, tornado threat will remain pretty high across central Ohio. So for multiple hours, we're going to be seeing a high tornado threat across much of the Ohio Valley as the tornado threat dies out across Kentucky and Tennessee. And then this is why we have the tornado threat extended to the south going into 9 o'clock this evening. High significant tornado parameters across central Alabama as high as 5 to 7. And then going into 10, 11 o'clock, these move into Georgia. And then as we go into about 4 or 5 a.m., we see our significant tornado parameters die out and the tornado threat, for the most part, over. So this is going to be a significant tornado outbreak likely for a large area today. So make sure you're preparing for numerous tornadoes and a few of EF2 or stronger in magnitude, especially across the moderate and enhanced risk areas this afternoon and evening, and have your tornado shelter plan in place for this event. Thanks for watching. Please stay safe and have a wonderful day, my friends.